So I will turn on the prayer song. Maybe we can keep hearing to that. So I need to turn on the sound.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Give 1 more minute and then we get started.
Hare Krishna,
Welcome all the participants.
Krishna
Thank you for
Krishna,
accepting
Hare
this
Hare,
joining this
Hare
program.
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Welcoming all the participants. I hope you are all able to hear me. Ramasana, you able to hear me?
Krishna Krishna,
And maybe we can start when people join.
Yes, we can get started, and I hope all of you are able to see the screen here. Please join us for the short prayer here. Do for a minute, and then we will turn to the introduction of our Brahma Sabha and Supreme Swamigal Satsang in Singapore. So please join me with singing along with this background song.
If people cannot hear your voice, the music you switch off, then we can.
Okay. So I hope everybody are able to hear me now. So good evening, namaste, everybody, and very warm welcome to all the participants for the evening. So thank you for registering this online quiz. This is another second attempt from our side on behalf of the Brahma Sabha Sri Krishna Premi Swamigal Satsangam in Singapore. So we invite you everybody here. So please join me to sing the prayer song for a minute, and then we get into the introduction of the thing. Okay, so I'm going to.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Okay, so we will start with the evening program for now. So I'll first invite Sri Muthu Subramaniam ji for giving an introduction about Brahma Sabha in Singapore. Muthu ji, good evening. Please take over.
Yeah, good evening all. Radhe Krishna.
Radhe Krishna.
Thanks, Ganesh, for the introduction. It's a very nice evening. We have, I think, more than about 100 participants today in the quiz program. I am also excited to know about the questions. Maybe you can share about, is the questions going to be very tough, or you can just give some kind of boost or a kind of a boost to the
It's going to be
children.
very tough.
Oh, that's very bad. Like me, those who are very less knowledgeable will be in trouble. But anyway, it's I mean, to all children who are going to participate, don't worry about that. All the questions will be very simple, and you can easily attend and score good marks. So with that, I think I should share right from my screen.
Yes, you can go ahead and share your screen.
I hope you all can see my screen now.
Yes.
Somebody is making a nice picture, making a round circles on the photos. That's good. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about our Brahma Sabha details or what we are doing and what we have been doing and what we are going to do in the near future. So the agenda is here, where I will be talking about Brahma Sabha and about us, and then the activities that we are doing here, and the centers we have around the world, and then what we are doing now and what we'll be doing as part of our ongoing activities, which are part of online. Also, we have some offline activities. I'll be discussing about this later. So before we move on and touch upon about our Brahma Sabha details, this is about our Sri Sri Anna. Even though I'm not qualified to talk about him, I just say a few words, which was presented to us by one of our volunteer from our group. I'm just going to read it. I mean, everyone knows, I mean, there's no need of introduction to be given for Sri Sri Anna. Everyone knows that, who is a well-known Hindu spiritual leader in India, and who has been conducting satsang events across India for more than 70 years. He's a well-known, legend, I would say, living legend. Around the world, he has been giving unique discourses on Sanatana Dharma, that's Hinduism. And there are his literary compositions, lectures, songs. I mean, these are devotion as a means to reach God, with strong foundation in Vedas and scriptures of Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Ramayanam, then Gita, then Bhakta Charitras. There are many discourses available online. So those who are interested can go to online. This is a website, www.srisrianna.com. And you can also get a lot of audios from this link, which is available. Next, I'll move on to Brahma Sabha. And Brahma Sabha is a global organization. It was founded by Sri Sri Anna in year 2003. In Singapore, we formally registered this in year 2011, and this is done to propagate universal messages regarding Bhagavad Dharma and Bhagavan Nama across the globe. And this aim is to spread the Bhakti Marga around the world, as you see here. And in Kali Yuga, only the Nama Sankirtanam is the only simple way to develop Bhakti. That Anna used to say that very regularly in many of his discourses. I'm just rephrasing the same here. So Nama Sankirtanam is the only and the simplest way in this Kali Yuga Dharma. And let us all put together and practice Nama Sankirtanam in the day-to-day activities as stressed by Sri Sri Anna in many of these discourses. And it helps us definitely to lead a life with tranquility, facing the challenges. I mean, everyone has challenges and pressures, and with this COVID-19 situation, everyone has a lot of challenges and pressures. And so with Nama Sankirtanam, we can, I'm sure that it will definitely help us to lead a better life in the upcoming years. And as far as the Brahma Sabha is concerned, we have got centers worldwide, as you see in this slide. And of course, today we are going to talk about only Brahma Sabha Singapore. And there are a lot of global interrelated activities going on. And if someone is interested to know, or if you have some friends who are outside Singapore and wants to know more about what is happening in US and what's happening in Europe or what's happening in Middle East, you can contact us. We'll be able to give a contact of the person who is leading that activity in that country, so that you'll be able to join them, or your families or your relatives also can join them and enjoy this events going on as part of Brahma Sabha global organization. Then, as far as Singapore is concerned, we have weekly bhajans, and we have a chanting of holy scriptures, and we also have a regular Nama chanting and writing, Ramanama writing in our satsang groups. As you see here, some of the photos, these are the group of children who are performing in an event conducted or organized by Brahma Sabha Singapore. Also, we give opportunity for children to show their talents in front of many audience, and you can use this as a platform to show your talents to the audience in Singapore. So also we have monthly events. So third Saturday of the month, we have an option to give programs for the kids to do bhajans or singings or talks or Nama Sankirtan, whatever it is. So those who are in Singapore, I think this is a good point for you. And also it's mainly for children, because we believe that the Nama Sankirtanam has to be transformed to the next generation, where we have to push this to the children. That's why it's going to continue for the next generation also. So I'm requesting all those who are in Singapore and listening this this presentation, please take a note and contact us if you have any specific interest to show your talents. Also, you can also be part of our satsang, and you can also be part of our group by registering your names. So feel free, and you can have details from us. Maybe you already have the WhatsApp group details. So from there, you'll be able to get more details. So please feel free and interact with our group to know more details, and also you can participate and you can be part of our satsang. And also yearly programs we have been conducting as part of Brahma Sabha events by eminent scholars like Sri Hariji and Sri Vishaka Hariji and Sri Ranganji. That's what you can also see the photos. I think it was about 3-4 years. The first photo that you see here is in a concert or a program by Vishaka Hariji in Perumal Temple in Singapore. You can see a lot of people watching that. So this is one of the main activity for us on yearly basis. And we get a lot of volunteers during this activities or during these events conducted by our group. So I am again requesting the group here, those if you want to volunteer, please come forward and let us know if you are interested, either by financially or by by a support or so we have a lot of requirements during this event. So please keep in touch with us. We will let you know our next program. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19 situation this year, we couldn't do any of these major events that we used to do regularly, but definitely this is going to happen next year. So please be in touch with us. So you will have a lot of new things which will be informed to the group, and please support us on Sita Kalyanam and Radha Kalyanam, and also in the other activities as I mentioned just before. And online classes, we are also doing online classes. Sorry, I'm taking much more time. Maybe this is the last page. I'll definitely close this after this. This is on Vaishnava Samhita Parayanam and the meaning. And we have classes, online classes for Bhagavata Parayanam and meaning, and Sundarakanda Parayanam. These are the online classes conducted by volunteers from our group itself, those who are talented people who have been there for more than 12 years in Singapore with us. So those who are interested to learn, please contact us. It's an online class. So it will be helpful for you to learn and grow with us. Also, finally, the kids slokas. There is also a group or a group of children who is learning slokas. Example of this is organized or this is done by Srinathji. And so, I don't have the names of individual person who are doing the individual activities. Sorry for that. But we have talented people who have been giving or who have been teaching the group of people or group of children with respect to individual title that has been shown here. So we also have online initiatives like live streaming in our channel. That's also happening. And we had 24/7 Zoom Agantanama chanting. And more details, you can get it from srisrianna.com. And there is a YouTube channel, Sri Srianna YouTube channel. So you'll be, if you follow that, you'll get all the regular updates of all the live streams that's going on. Or if we release any new audios or videos, that will be immediately, available to you, so that you can benefit, or you can listen and enjoy this new releases coming from our Brahma Sabha Global. So I think that's it about the introduction about our Brahma Sabha and what we are doing and what we have been doing. Thanks, Ganesh, for giving me opportunity to talk about this. Radhe Krishna.
Thank you, Mumtuji. There's a very brief and detailed description of our satsang activities. Thank you for the evening. So next I invite Dr. Uma Natarajan ji, who she is participating. She is going to address from the Hindu Center, who is jointly we are jointly organizing this quiz program. Hello.
Namaste. Thank you, Ganesh ji. Namaste, everyone. It is really heartening to see overwhelming participation. I'm Uma Natarajan. I'm the honorary secretary of the Hindu Center. I do have my colleague here today, Sadashiv ji, who will be one of the panelists. Namaste, Sada. It's so heartening to see the participation from so many kids and families. I take this opportunity to wish you all a great learning time and having fun and knowing more about Krishna's Leela, as much as winning is part of the game. Before I hand it over to Ganesh ji for a short video about us, I would like to say a couple of sentences about the Hindu Center. We were established in 1978, and the aim was to create greater awareness of Sanatana Dharma, both Hindus and non-Hindus in Singapore. And for over 4 decades, the institution has been dedicated to the spiritual progress of Singapore Hindus. We actually work on 3 pillars of jnana, bhakti, and seva, which we call it as knowledge, devotion, and service. And we do want to be a reputed voice on Hinduism. We have lots of activities which you will see shortly in the online presentation which we have. When you have a moment, I would encourage you to go online to our website at hinducenter.org.sg and see and participate in all the activities. Like our earlier presentation was about, we had activities for kids, adults, and everything. We also have quite a suite of things that we offer. So I would take this opportunity to hand it back to Ganesh ji for the video presentation, which is more comprehensive, and it says what we are about and what we hope to be. Wish you all the best again, and I look forward to some very good participation and good quizzing today. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Uma Natarajan ji. So I'll now share the video of the Hindu Center. all. It's a good introduction to the activities in Hindu Center. So now let's get into the action of the day, which is a quiz. So I'll start with certain rules. Before I go start sharing the Kahoot game pin. So we will now look into the scoring and other information on how we're going to conduct this event. So most of you might have played this game before. So for those who are new to the event, so we're going to have the questions shown on the Zoom video and Zoom screen, and then you have to log in into your mobile device or your computer into kahoot.it with the game pin that I'm going to show you. So you're going to have total of, there are going to be 2 practice questions, and we're going to have total of 18 questions. So when I say 18 questions, that includes the 2 practice questions also. So I have to make that as 16 there. So you're going to have only 16 questions for your for you to answer the quiz. So each question will have 1,000 points, and you have to the faster you answer the question, the higher the score is going to be. The scores will be automatically determined by the Kahoot app. So it is going to be really interesting to see how the people are going to answer quickly.
Ganesh, can you increase your volume? People are feedbacking the voice is feeble. Can you raise your voice?
Okay. Okay. Is it better now? Is that any better now? Okay. Maybe there is a problem with my mic. Just a minute.
Your volume is a bit feeble. Maybe you can increase the volume.
Okay.
If it is already max, I think you can continue. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
You can hear me? Is it better now? Any better?
For me, okay.
I'm able to hear. Okay, no, I think
okay.
people are saying okay.
Okay, right. All right. So you're going to have 2 practice questions and then followed by 16 questions. So total of 18 questions. Only the 16 questions are going to have points. Those are the quiz questions, and you're going to answer those 16 and get the get your scores. So the quicker you answer, the higher the score for you. So I'm going to now switch to the prizes. So we'll have top 3 performers. We'll have prizes for top 3 performers, and for all the top 10, we're going to have some appreciation certificate. So we will notify the winners or the top performers through email or through WhatsApp contact numbers. Okay. So with this, we will get into the game. So I'm going to share my screen in a minute and then start with that. Okay, we have 96 players joining in now. So once we have as many people have joined in, then I will get it started. So we have 107 players now. I hope we can get started. So let me see how many people have signed in. All right. So Right, so let's get inside. So we have 110 players. This is good to start. So I'm going to start the game. So this one is the first two questions are practice questions. So you can still answer them. There is no point on that. Just for you to get familiar with the how to answer it on your device and seeing the question on the Zoom screen. So this one is going to be very easy question. So. Right, so the answers are coming in. So 97, 98 people have answered here. So you can see the timer here. As you see, the timer is coming. So for each question, we have 30 seconds. So now the timer is going to become 0. So which means most of you answered well within that time period. So we're going to have this 30 seconds for every question. So the first two questions are really easy. So after every question, you're going to have the score. So in this, the first one is no score. We're going to have 0 score there. I mean, this score is not counted, so we just can leave that. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. So this one is second trial question. Once again, there is no score for this. We'll go to the, so you can see here it is running fast. So name the city where Krishna was born. So I can see that 99 people have answered. It's very, very quick. I can see that you have answered within 15 seconds. So this is really good. So I'll give one more, 7, 6, another 5 more seconds to switch to the next one. I hope you are now got used to this switching between seeing the screen and this one. So now let's get into the real game. So I'm going to go fast into the next one. So this is the real question. Which Asura came in the form of cartwheel to get rid of Sri Krishna? All right, so we're getting very good answers, very fast. So I'm going to have some music turned on here. All right, 5 seconds more. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so most of you got the answer right. It is Satagasura. It came in the form of cart. So I'll move fast to the next version. Okay, so looks like the points got added from the previous one. So that's okay. So let's go to the next one. So we have Sarayu, Srishti, and Satvika, Sam on the top now. Okay, let's go to the next one. Who conducted the naming ceremony for Sri Krishna and Balarama? That's good. So within 15 seconds, I got 104 answers. That's really fast. All right, so 91 of you got it really good. That is good. So let's go to the next one. So here we have Shreya Setu on the top. So this is the first question. So we have another 3 more questions before I would invite our next. Okay, so which stage caused the son of Kubera to become trees? Nanda Gopal's yard.
Maybe you can reduce the computer sound. Computer sound can reduce it.
All right, so all of you, many of you got, 73 of you got the right answer. So good luck for the remaining. So let's go to the next question quickly. So before that, we see the score here. So Shreya Setu is on the top with the maximum points, followed by Navaneet, Pundarikakshan, Priyavardhan, and Srishti. So let's go to this one. Who killed Dhenukasura? Of you got it right. So we get into the scores now. So Navneet is on the top, Pundarikakshan at the second place. So, all right. So now it's time to have a quick talk on the 4. So I'm going to invite our first esteemed panelist here. So we have Srimati Padmini Chandrasekhar from Singapore. So Padmini Chandrasekhar has been teaching children for many years to appreciate the great glories of our Hindu culture and tradition, while focusing on instilling the right values in them. As a chairperson of the Gita Training Committee of the Gita Jayanti, Singapore, she has been training adults and children for the past 20 years to successfully participate in Bhagavad Gita chanting competitions. So anybody interested to learn Bhagavad Gita, you can contact Padmini ji. Her Gita learning aid videos are available on YouTube. She also has a passion to sing names of Lord through stotras and bhajans, and has been part of several devotional projects like the Eclipse Nirvana. So the video that we saw during the prayer is from her team. All right, so I invite first Srimati Padmini ji to talk about the quiz and the questions so far.
Radhe Krishna. Sri Krishna killed many asuras throughout his lifetime. Every asura represented a negative tendency, and Krishna successfully defeated each one of them. We must remember that Sri Krishna Leela is not just what happened thousands of years ago. Even today, there are many asuras in our midst. Asuras in our midst? Where are they? They are not outside. They are inside our own minds. Who are these enemies lurking in our minds? They are anger, greed, jealousy, pride, etc. These negative qualities spoil our happiness and peace of mind. In chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita, Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, Lord Krishna talks about the divine qualities that we need to develop in ourselves and the devilish tendencies that we should stay away from. Sri Krishna says, Ahimsa satyam akrodha tyaga shantirapaishunam daya bhuteshvalo luptvam mardavam hrirachapalam. Non-violence, truthfulness, control of anger, renunciation, tranquility, avoidance of slander, kindness to all beings, freedom from temptation, gentleness, modesty, freedom from restlessness. These are some of the divine qualities Sri Krishna glorifies in this chapter, and we should try to practice these qualities in our own lives. In a small town, there was a boy called Ramu. His grandfather loved him a lot, and every day the grandfather used to tell Ramu many meaningful stories. One day, the grandfather called Ramu and told him, "See, my dear boy, you know there are 2 wolves in each one of us. One is a good wolf and the other one is bad. And they are all the time they are fighting with each other. Ramu thought about this for a while and then asked his grandfather, Grandpa, you said the two wolves are fighting all the time. Which one will win? He asked. Grandfather said, The wolf which you feed every day will become strong and it will win. From this story, we understand that with Krishna's help, we need to destroy the bad qualities in us and keep feeding the good qualities so that we bring out the best in us. If there is darkness in a room, what do we do to remove the darkness? Just by opening the doors and letting in the light. When light pours into the room, darkness is automatically gone. Similarly, on a daily basis, we should consciously try to practice caring and sharing, kindness and compassion, humility and gratitude. When we do this, do you know what will happen? All the negative qualities in us will start vanishing, and then our hearts will become very pure. It will be like the freshly churned white butter that Krishna loves so much. Just like how he stole butter from the gopis, he will come to our homes and steal our pure hearts. Now we know the secret how to attract Krishna into our own lives. Let's attract him with our noble qualities and keep him very close to us. Shall we? Radhe Krishna.
Thank you, Srimati Padmini ji. Thank you for your encouraging words and very good description about the questions and the quiz today. We'll now continue to the quiz. So we have the scoreboard now. So we have Navneet on
Ganesh,
the
you
top.
need to share again. I have cancelled the share because the video was not clear. So you share it again. Screen.
Okay, I'll share my screen again. All right. So now we have Navneet on top and Pundarikashan at the second. There is a very fine differences in the score. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, so on which day of the lunar fortnight was Krishna born? That's great. So 71 of you got it right. It is Krishna Paksha on the 8th day, Ashtami. All right, so we'll go to the next one quickly. So Navneet is on the top, Srishti second, Harini third, and Kairavi the fourth place. Vidhu fifth one. That's good. It's awesome to see so many good answers coming there. 8th question. Who is Anaka?
You can reduce the computer sound a bit.
That's right. So it is Vasudeva who is, this is the right answer here. So let's see who got it right. So 24 of you got it right. I think most of you guessed it. So let's see who really got it. Okay, so Ananta has come up to 5th place, Narsi at 4th, and Anu Gopal at 5th, 3rd, and Harini and Harini at 2nd, and Srishi at 1st. Now let's go to the next one quickly. After eating to his satisfaction, who did Krishna distribute the remaining stolen butter to? it was monkeys in Vrindavana that was enjoying these Krishna distributed butter. So 74 of you got it right. That's good. So we have, let's see the scores. So Srishti on top, Harini at the second place, Anu, Gopal, Narsi, and Anant 2020 following. So I have one more question before we go to the next panelist. How many brothers do Krishna have in total? How many brothers? This is a tricky question. It's not going to be that straightforward. So let's see how many of you get it right. Okay, so 43 of you got it right. So let's see the score and then I'll invite the panelist. Okay, Srishti on top, Harini, Narsi, Rukmani, and KKS following. That's good. So let's now listen to our panelists. So let me invite the next panelist here. So we have Shri Venkat Raghavan ji from Singapore. So Venkat Raghavan, we call him Raghavan in our satsangs, a son of Bhagavata Shironmani, Shri K.S. Mallikarjuna. We call him as Malli Anna in bhajan circles. Is a great devotee of Paranur Mahatma, Shri Krishna Premi Anna. Raghavan has learned Srimad Bhagavatam from Srikant Sharma, prime disciple of Sri Anna. He loves Sanskrit and is interested in Parayana of scriptures like Bhagavata, Ramayana, and other works of Sri Anna. Raghavan Anna teaches Srimad Bhagavatam Vaishnava Samhita through online classes based out of Singapore. He is an engineer by training and conducting, and currently works in an American corporation. Raghavan Anna, please address the participants.
Radhe Krishna. Thank you so much, Ganesh ji. With due pranams to our Gurunatha, Sadguru Maharaj ki jai. So first of all, very pleased to see the participation out here. So many kids, and all of them, 90% of them below the age of 17 years. It's absolutely thrilling. So they are the seeds of the, the next wave of how we are going to take forward the Sanatana Dharma, right? So that's a very, very promising, feature in this. And in fact, it is to kindle the interest in this topic, in such topics. We are launching this thing. So I want to just share a few words before we get into a couple of the questions where the answers were a bit tricky. See, Bhagavan has done avatarams in this world. Many avatarams. Avatara hyasankyaha. Bhagavata says innumerable, uncountable number of avatars. But primarily we talk about Dashavataram, and amongst them is the Rama Avatara and Krishna Avatara. So in the Rama Avatara, Bhagavan is known as Dhira Udata. That means he is a very brave person. He will take anything to the closure, but he was very calm, modest, very humble. And he did not show many times that he was the Lord. He was Sriman Narayana himself, but he never showed that. There was one occasion where he said, I will dry up the entire oceans if you don't allow the bridge to be built. That is the only time he even claimed to be even having some godliness. Otherwise, he was totally putting on his human cloak. But typically, he was known for the Sharanagati Lakshana. He was even ready to excuse the most grave of sins that Ravana committed. Ravana abducted Sita Devi, but Pranipata Prasannahi Maithili Janakatmaja. So Maithili ji was Lordess Lakshmi herself. She said, if you fall at Rama's feet, he will accept you. So don't worry about the sin you have created. So Rama was known for this. Everyone thinks that Rama's avatar only had so many difficulties, beset with so many problems, everything. This often happened in Treta Yuga, but that was what Lord's wish. The need of the hour was the Lord did not want to show so much of his, superior powers, that he was the Paramatma, he was the Bhagavan. But come to Krishna Avatara, it was already in the Dwapara Yuga, wherein the ecosystem had generated, the value systems had come down. So Bhagavan, the primary purpose of any avatar is to dharma samrakshana. That means uphold the righteousness, right? And dushta nigraha. He will teach the evil people. He put them in place, get rid of them. Okay, so dharma samrakshanartham. So Bhagavan did all this, but with great elan and effortlessly he did that. So he was called as Dhira Lalita. Dhira Lalita means he was a brave man, and but everything was done in a joyful way. He was very romantic. One of the Nayaka Lakshana is called Dhira Lalita. Dhira Udatta was Rama. Dhira Shanta is our Gurunatha Sri Sri Anna. So there are so many such gunas. So, but since Bhagavan Krishna did everything with so much elan and ease and comfort, people think that Lord Krishna's life was very smooth. No, it was never like that. So even on the day he was born, his parents were jailed. No, he had to be, secretively taken to Gokula, and even within 10 days, Devanas came there, tried to kill him by feeding him milk. And there were, even when he wanted to graze the cows and have some fun in the afternoons in Brindavana, in the forest, there were a line of asuras and the demons that wanted to get rid of Krishna and bring calamity to the entire Gokula. But Bhagavan took it all by the stride, right? So he was very, very intent upon instilling dharma, taking care of his devotees, protection of his bhaktas. Dharma samrakshana was all throughout, and wherever it required, Bhagavan also showed that he is he's not a normal person with a human cloak. Okay, he is Bhagavan himself, Sriman Narayana himself. Even he brought out his Sudarshana Chakra as and when it was required. And in all the Asuravadhas, it was never easy thing. Okay, and Bhagavan himself says people are very idiotic. Avajananti mam mudaha manushim deham ashritam. So they think I am a normal person, human person that is like just about anyone else in this world. No, it is not true. People who have bhakti, who have the passion to understand the absolute truth will know me. So Bhagavan's situation was very difficult, and he handled everything with great ease. So what is important is we need to understand amidst all this, right? Bhagavan was there for Sharanagati. The Pandavas, the Gopikas, Gopis, all of them fell at Bhagavan's feet, just like Vibhishana. All the Vanaras fell at Rama's feet. Here also Krishna's feet they fell. The message here is, during Krishna Avataram, since the things have degenerated, things can come in any form. The adharma, the unrighteousness can manifest in any form. So we need to be equal to the task, rise to the occasion. You remove a thorn with a thorn. That is the saying, right? So Bhagavan did all he could. The mental alacrity was great. So in the Kali Yuga, which is the next degenerated Yuga after the Dwapara Yuga, we also need to be following the dharma. No questions about that, no qualms about that. But what is important is we should not alone be very goody-goody. We should be very defensive. We should protect our dharma despite all the manipulations and the difficulties that will come across, right? So, and for that, Bhagavan has to give us the thoughtfulness. The mental alacrity should be given by him. So what we should do bhakti like how the Gopikas did, how the Gopas did. Okay, and by doing bhakti is very simple. Kalau Sankirtya Keshavam. You don't have to do big yaga, yajnas. Just tell Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, or Rama Rama, or Krishna Krishna. Daily 10 minutes, if we can afford as part of our life, right? Bhagavan is always there with us. So he will be there with us to take care of ourselves, take care of all of us. It is there. Even all the charitrams of even the Mahans in the 18th century, 19th century, even 20th century, he is helping. It is just that we have to knock at his doors. He is very, very willing to come to us. So let us do Nama Sankirtanam, chant some Nama amidst all our materialistic, day-to-day lives also. So with this, I complete my short introduction to what I wanted to say. A couple of questions were indeed difficult. I'll just throw light on that. The first question was, when was Krishna born in the lunar, fortnight? It was Krishna Paksha, 8th day. Ashtamyam Shravane Masi is the shloka that goes. And Anaka Dundibi, it's a very tricky question. Amidst 16 questions, right? We need to throw one on here. That will be a bit on the difficult side, right? Anaka Dundibi is none other than Vasudeva. Vasudeva was, when Vasudeva, is Krishna's father, right? When he was born, the Devatas knew that, he is going to be Lord Krishna's father. So when he was born, they blew the horns, anakas, and dundubis means the drums, all these things, they played that, and they announced the arrival or the birth of Vasudeva, which means they are going to get rid of the evil forces in Kamsa and his gang. So that was the thing. It is also quoted, Sa Vismayot Pulla Vilochano Harim Sutam Vilokya Anaka Dundibistada. It is in the 11th shloka of the 3rd Adhyayam in Dashamaskandam Bhagavatam. Okay, and Krishna distributed to the monkeys. It was also given in the Bala Bhagavatam that Sri Sri Anna has given, very, very nicely put. And the one that the last question number 10 or 12, in fact, 10 rather, okay, 10, which says what number of brothers that Krishna had. It was already actually 7, because there were 6 brothers that got killed by Kamsa. They were smashed on the stones, right? And Balarama was somehow transferred to the womb of Rohini Mata. So Balarama was seventh brother. So 6 plus 1, Hateshu Shatsu Baleshu. Okay, Devakya Augrasenina. That means this is what Bhagavata says. So 6 plus 1 is 7. Balarama was the only sole brother that was alive when Krishna was born, but it did not mean that Krishna did not have the 6 brothers who were born earlier to Balarama Swami. So totally the answer is total number of brothers was 7. So I think it's very exciting. The idea is not about who wins, but the participation and awareness of the scriptures and what Bhagavan Krishna gives us as the message. Thank you all for participating, and keep telling Bhagavan Nama, just like our Gurunatha says. Thank you, Ganesh.
Thank you, Raghavanji. So it was a nice description of those questions.
Screen share again.
Yes, I'm going to share the screen again, and let's get back to the quiz. So we have another 8 more questions to go. So are you ready? I'm going to go to the next. So we have the 11th question. Which form did Bhuma Devi take to pray to Mahavishnu on the scores of Shirabdi? Right? All right, Shirabdi, the Milky Way ocean or the Milky Way galaxy, whichever way we want to call that. So that's where Mahavishnu is, and we have Bhuma Devi, the Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia. So she is all the way traveling there to pray to Mahavishnu to protect her. So in which form did she take? So is it an Apsara's lady or a Kamadhenu or a fish? All right, so that was a cow. That is a good answer. She took the form of cow, and 64 of you really got it right. So let's go to the next one. So scores here, Srishti, Harini, Narsi, Rukmini, and KKS on the top 5 positions. Let's go to the next one. The 12th question, as per Srimad Bhagavatam, who is Baki? Who is Baki? Oh, all these are demons. There are different demons there. And Kamsa has been sending many demons to kill Krishna and all the children everywhere born at that time. And how could somebody be like that? I couldn't think of such a terrible thing. But let's see, who is Baki here? All right, 66 of you got it right. Yes, she is kind of the virus spreader. Maybe she goes and poisons everybody, just like the current situation. Maybe she did such bad things there. So many of you got it right, 66. So let's go see the score. Srishti came to the top, Harini on second, Narasi third, and Snowy Wolf 14 on fourth, and Sarangan on the fifth place. Now let's see the 13th question. Vani Gunan Katani. It's a prayer to Lord Krishna from which Leela? So there are many slokas and many stotras we have in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is wonderful. Each one of them is wonderful, sung by many people, many great beings. Okay, so this one is the Damodara Leela. So 28 of you got it right. So all of you would be knowing Damodara Leela. That's when the trees fell, and then Krishna was tied. All right, let's see who is the best in this round. So Srishti on top, Harinit, Narsi, Sarangan, and Madhu are the top 5 positions. Now I'm going to go to the next question, the 14th question. Name the Leela enacted by Krishna when Brahma kidnapped the cows and the boys. All the devatas wanted to participate in the Krishna Leela time. So they also wanted to do something, and it was at, looking at everybody has played with little Krishna. Brahma also wanted to come and play. So he did something, and this question is about that. So 24 of you got it right, and it is, yes, the Brahma Mohana Leela. Now let's invite our next panelist to talk about the 4 questions. Now I invite Shri Prahalad Ji. So I'm going to invite Shri Prahalad Ji. Prahalad Ji is member of Shri Krishna Premi Swamigal Satsang in Singapore. He's the son of Shri Neela Bala Sharma, one of the disciples of Shri Krishna Premi Swamigal. He's a chartered accountant by profession, and Prahalad was trained in Srimad Bhagavatam Parayanam by his father, and he did his basic learning of Samavedam from Sri Nagaraja Sautrika. Welcome, Prahalad Ji. Please address the participants. Prahalad Ji, we're able to hear you. Yes.
Sankirtanam sada lokakshemaya kurvantam premikam sadgurum bhaje. Thank you, Ganesh Ji, and all the organizers for this very wonderful opportunity. First of all, I congratulate all the kids and their parents for the very enthusiastic participation in the quiz, and I wish them all the very best. So I'd like to take the 4 questions, the previous 4 questions, as it were coined very beautifully. So we go to question number 11. The question is about which form did Bhuma Devi take to pray Mahavishnu on the shores of Kshetrabdi? In chapter 1 of Dashamaskanda in Srimad Bhagavata, shloka 14 and 15, Shri Shuka says, Gaur bhutva shumaki kinna krandanti karunam vibhoko upastitantike tasmai vyasanam samavochate. When hundreds and thousands of demons became kings, the earth became overburdened by their activities. So the distressed Mother Earth took form of a cow with her teary eyes, approached Mahavishnu in Kshetrabdi along with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. So the answer was cow. That was right. Many of you got it correct, actually. So we go to the next question. As per Srimad Bhagavata, who is Baki? So this was a very tricky question. In couple of places in Bhagavatam, Putana is referred as Baki. In Dashamaskanda chapter 12, sloka 14, Shri Shuka introduces Aghasura, one of the demons sent by Kamsa In that he says, Drishtvar bhakane Krishna mukhana gasuraha kamsanu shishtaha sa baki bakanujaha. Sri Shuka mentions Aghasura as the brother of Baki and Baka. In this context, he refers to Putana as Baki. As we know, Sri Krishna killed demons Putana and Bakasura. Then their brother Aghasura came to kill Krishna to avenge his anger. Later, he was also nullified by Sri Krishna. Also, there is another occasion in the Tritiya Skanda of Srimad Bhagavata, chapter 2, describes the meeting between Sri Uddhava and Sri Vidura and explains the wonderful conversations that they had. Sri Uddhava does Krishna Leela Smaranam, remembering Krishna's childhood stories, and in Shloka 24 he says, Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jighamsaya payadapi asadvi lebhe gatim datruchitam tato anyam kamva dayalum sharanam vraje. Sri Uddhava mentions about Sri Krishna's mercy, saying that who else can we surrender to other than Sri Krishna? Sri Krishna, he gave moksham to even a Putana who came to kill him by feeding poison milk. In this sloka also, Putana is referred as Baki. So the answer, Putana, is correct. So we go to the next question. Shloka starting with Vani Gunanukatane is a prayer to Lord Krishna from which Leela? So many of you got this also correct, as this is a very famous shloka in Srimad Bhagavata. Chapter 9 and 10 of Dashamaskandam describes the story of Sri Krishna being tied by his mother by a rope. And hence the story is called Damodara Leela, in which the sons of Kubera praises the Damodara and request the Bala Gopala that Vani Guna Nukatane, let our speech be filled with Sri Krishna Kathas. Similar to Shishi Anna's Dolotsava Kirtana, in which he requests Tavana Masudha Rasana Rasatu Bhagavatam Mama Rasana Patatu. Similar to that. And he goes on to request Shravanau Kathayam, let our ears be filled with lot of Krishna Kathas. Recently we were fortunate to hear Sri Anna's Harikatha on various saints in the Brahma Sabha YouTube channel webcast also. Then they go on to say, Hastau cha karmasu, let our hands do lot of service, pujas, sant sevas, and various kainkaryams. Manaha tavapadayor naha smrityagam, let our mind be filled with lot of thoughts of Sri Krishna. Shiraha tava nivasa jagat praname, let our head be used for doing lot of pranams. And then drishtihi satam darshanestu bhavattanuna. And finally, our eyes be engaged having darshanam of lot of Bhagavatas. So this was the request by the sons of Kubera to Sri Krishna. So in similar lines, let us also pray to Sri Krishna for having many more such satsang like this quiz programs to know more about our dharma and religious stories. So we go to the next question. Name the Leela enacted by Sri Krishna when Brahma kidnapped the cows and the boys. So this Leela is described by Sri Shuka in chapter 13 of Dashamaskanda. Shloka 44 in the chapter goes as, Evam sammohayan vishnum vimokam vishvamohanam swayaiva mayaya jopi swayameva vimohitaha. This Leela is Brahma Mohana Leela. The Lord Brahma, who wanted to mystify Krishna by taking away, kidnapping the cows and all his friends, was finally himself mystified by Krishna when Krishna took the form of all the cows and his friend. As Lord Brahma himself was mystified, this Leela is called as Brahma Mohana Leela. So there ends question number 14. I congratulate each and every participant and thanks for this opportunity. Back to Ganeshji. Radhe Krishna.
Radhe Krishna, Prahlaji, thank you for the nice this one. So let's go into the game again. So I know many of you are really patiently waiting and for the game. So now that you answered the question, now also you knew why such a thing happened. So now let's go to the next question. Before that, there is a score coming up. So Srishti on top, Harini, Narsi, Sarangan, Anugopal at the top 5 positions. 15th question. Name two Gandharvas who got released from their curse of being trees. That's interesting. 77 of you got it right. So let's see who did it the best. So we have Srishti on top, Harini, Narsi, Sarangan, and Anugopal following. So this is really good score here coming up. Let's go to the next question. The 16th question. Who was Balarama's mother? That's good. So all of you have answered within 30 seconds. That's really good. So I'll go to the next one. So 84 of you really knocked this question right. So I think Rohini Ma is the popular, and most of you knew her. Okay, so we have Srishti, Sarangan, Anu, Harini, and Narsi at the top places. Now let's go to the 17th question, the second last question of the evening. Which demon came in the form of a whirlwind? So hurricane or twister. He came in the form of a twister, whirlwind, right? So these asuras, they can take different shapes and they appear to be natural, but they are not natural. They can take different forms and deceive us from their different tricks. So we have 1 or 3 answers, and okay, so we have 60 people answering this right. It's Trinavarta. That's great. So we have the scoreboard here, Srishti on top, and Sarangan, Anu, Harini, Madhu following. Now let's go to the last question of the evening. Vatsasura was killed by whom and was thrown onto which tree? You have to select the right combination. You have good combinations here. So is it Krishna wood apple tree? Is it Krishna who threw him on palm tree, or Balarama threw him on a wood apple tree, or is it Balarama throwing him on a palm tree? Where was Vatsasura thrown? That's right. So Krishna threw the Asura, Vatsasura, on top of a wood apple tree. Okay, so before I show you the scores and who is on the top, I'm going to invite the next panelist here, who is going to talk about, he's going to give interesting insights on the, so I invite Shri K. Sadashivji. He is from the Hindu Center, Singapore. Sadashiva has been performing seva or service over 7 years as a trained religious counselor at Singapore prisons for Hindu inmates under the Hindu Center Mitra program. This helps them to come out of the unnecessary tendencies. The program aims to teach and inculcate Hindu values so that the inmates may change their approach to living and lead a more fulfilling and useful life, both while in prison and after their release. He's an engineer, MBA, and specialized in climate change and sustainability. He works as a banker and a consultant of a major companies. Since joining Hindu Center, Sada has been spending more time in spiritual studies and also in delivering talks on various aspects of Hinduism. We welcome Sadashivji to address the participants.
Namaste, dear children, and Hari Om. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
First of all, I must congratulate each of you. Doesn't matter whether you have got the maximum number of points or not. The important thing is that you have taken part in this evening's quiz. You could have spent time at a video game or had fun with friends or watch a movie, and yet you decided to come and join here. So for that, you deserve a prize, okay? Because you have chosen to come to this nice program, and I hope you enjoyed it. So, so you are all a winner. Each of you is a winner. Take it from me, okay? So don't bother about the prizes. Prizes will come, prizes will go. But what's important is what do we learn from this, and how do we use it in our lives, right? So I'm going to tackle, basically take you through each of the 4 questions that the last 4 questions that you answered. And what really made me happy was that many of you, in fact, most of you got all the questions right, which is fantastic. That means you've not really got bored, and you have stayed through the program. So let's take the first question that you were posed. Name the 2 Gandharvas who got released from their curse of being trees. Let's take a look at some pictures. That was the question. And very correctly, those of you who selected, it was Nalakubara and Manigriva. Now, there's a story around this, and something for us also to learn here. Now, Nalakubara and Manigriva were the twin sons, or 2 boys, sons of Lord Kubera. And you might have heard that Lord Kubera, who is a demigod or a semi-god, is the god of wealth. He controls all the wealth and power. And he was also, by the way, the half-brother of the famous Ravana. So he lived in Sri Lanka. Okay? And then, of course, Ravana drove him away, drove his half-brother Kubera away. And that's a different story. But it's interesting to know. So Nalakubara and Manigriva were the 2 sons of a very rich father, right? Many of us also are probably sons and daughters of rich parents. And I'm sure almost all of you are. I can't think of anyone who is not rich in many ways, right? It's not only money. Now, these 2 boys, they were therefore using their time in ways in which they were just enjoying their life away. They were drinking. You can see the picture on the left-hand side. And they were one day bathing without any clothes in the river and frolicking with some women and having some nice wine, etc. I'm not sure whether you will agree that's the best thing to do. And at that time, what happened was, you could see sage Narada, or Narada Muni, the famous Narada Muni, came that way. And instead of immediately covering themselves up and behaving in a more dignified manner, what did they do? They started laughing and making fun at a very learned person, a person who is even more learned than their own parents. And so naturally, Sage Narada was a bit annoyed, and he said, for 100 years, both of you are now going to be cursed to become not some horrible creature or something. He cursed them only to become 2 Arjuna trees. I don't know if you have seen Arjuna trees, but many of you might have tasted the star fruit. It's a kind of a sweetish, sourish fruit. And next time your parents go to the fruit shop, see whether you can get them to buy you the star fruit. Actually, when it's ripe, it's quite a tasty fruit. But anyway, these 2 became Arjuna trees, and they were then, imagine what happens to them. They were enjoying their lives, and suddenly they're standing as trees. Would you like to have that to happen to you? Naturally, they were punished. And then fortunately for them, when Krishna was a little boy, and during one of his pranks or mischievous times, he was tied to a big mortar, okay, which is a pounding stone. In those days, they used to have stones for pounding the paddy, and to make it, to bring out the rice. And so his mother had tied Krishna, and Krishna, of course, is God, we know, but he was behaving as a baby should. And he dragged the mortar, and he could drag it because he is nobody with God himself. And fortunately for these 2, Nalakubara and Manigriva, the mortar went and hit the 2 trees, and they got released from the trees. So in a way, they were liberated from this curse by none other than Lord Krishna himself. And they realized that that they had committed a grave blunder in disrespecting, elderly people, especially those who are much learned people. So there is something for us to learn out of this, isn't it? We don't want to be a Nalakubara or a Manigriva and lose the opportunity to enjoy our lives. And so this picture on the right, you see, they both are praying to Sri Krishna and thanks him for his gift. So this is one more of his, what we call as Leela. Leela is a divine drama, which Sri Krishna played many times. So you've read through the book, and maybe you've heard some of the stories from your parents. This is one of those important stories. So that is the first question. And so congratulations to those who answered it correctly. We move to the second question. Okay. And the second question, can you switch, please? The second question. Yeah. So the second question was, who was Balrama's mother? And you had 4 answers there. And I'm again very happy that many of you answered. In fact, I think 77 of you answered Rohini is the correct. But let us take a look at who all these great ladies were. There is one great lady in all our lives, okay? And that is our mother, isn't it? It's your mother. She is the most special person in your life. And so each of these were mothers, and I thought we should have a quick look not only at who Rohini alone was, but also at each of these mothers. Can you go back to that slide, Ganesh?
Yes.
So children, let's take a look at the first mother, which is on the left, who was Yashoda. Who was Yashoda? Yashoda was none other than the foster mother of Krishna Paramatma himself, right? So Yashoda was also the wife of Nanda, who was the chief of the Gopas tribe. The Gopas tribe used to be the tribe of cowherds. In India in those days, even now in some of the villages, there will be people who will be tending cows. So the one who takes the whole herd of cows and takes them out every day to graze, then brings them back to safety in the evening, they are called cowherds. Okay, and so Nanda was the head of such a tribe, and his wife was none other than Yashoda, and Yashoda became Lord Krishna's foster mother, because Lord Krishna was taken away from the prison. You would have read the story, right? He was taken away from the prison and put in her care, and she did not even know that it was not her own child, and she brought him up as her own child. So that is the first of the divine mothers, Yashoda. The second, which was the answer to the question of who was the mother of Balrama, was none other than Ma Rohini. Okay? And Rohini was again the daughter of a king. The king's name was Vahalika, and she was also the first wife or first consort of Vasudeva. Yashoda, by the way, was the second, not Yashoda, Devaki was the first, second consort. So here, Rohini was the first consort or first wife of Vasudeva, and Vasudeva was himself a prince of the Yadu clan or Yadu group of people. Okay? And Balrama, by the way, happened to be was actually formed as the 7th child in the stomach or womb of Mother Devaki. Okay? But because Kamsa was killing off all the children or waiting to kill all the children, he was through a special power or Shakti of Vishnu himself transferred. Nowadays we hear of, oh, someone got, artificial fertilization. You would have heard of mothers having got children through surgical techniques, through the hospital. So this way, actually, it was done then too, and he was transferred into the womb of Ma Rohini, and thus became the son of Mother Rohini. Okay, so that is what you can see the picture there on the second picture from the left. Okay, and Balrama avatar, he is also considered an avatar. Okay, or a rupa of Mahavishnu on earth. Now we come to the third divine mother, and that is none other than Devaki himself, who is the actual birth mother of Lord Krishna, and she was the daughter of King Ugrasena. Okay, and Ugrasena was also the father of King Kamsa. That means Kamsa was the brother of Devaki, which means Kamsa became the mama, mama uncle of maternal uncle of Krishna. Okay, of course, he was a cruel king, and so and then you know the story, etc. So you can see in the picture how Krishna is born inside the jail at the bottom, and then Vasudeva carries him across the Yamuna river, and then finally leaves him in the lap of Ma Yashoda and is born. But the actual mother is Ma Devaki. And finally we come to Prishni, and this mother is somewhat less well known, but actually there was a Prajapati or king and protector called Sutapa, and he had a wife called Prishni, and they both were great devotees of Lord Vishnu or Mahavishnu. And so they prayed to Mahavishnu and said, Mahavishnu, we would like you to be born as our son. And in their enthusiasm, they told it 3 times. Okay. And so guess what happened? The Lord was born to this couple again and again 3 times in 3 different yugas or 3 different epochs or 3 different times. Okay. The first yuga was the Satya Yuga, when Prajapati Sutapa and Prishni, Mother Prishni, had Vishnu born to them in the form of Prishni Garbha. Okay. Then in the next yuga, the Treta Yuga, the yuga in which there was a sage called Kashyapa and his wife or consort Aditi, they then had a child, again Vishnu, this time formed as Vamana. Okay. And finally we come to Dwapara Yuga, the most important yuga where today's topic is, where Krishna was born. And this time the parents were Vasudeva and Devaki. So Prishni is the very first of the couple to whom Vishnu was born in the form of Prishni Garbha. So all 4 are actually important mothers, and we must try and remember this as part of our learning today. Okay, let's move to the next question. Yeah, and so the last but one question was, which demon came in the form of a whirlwind? And many of you again answered Trinavarta, and that is the correct answer. Let's take a look at. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to take a look at the left-hand side picture. So who's Trinavarta? Now, interestingly, you see in our Sanatana Dharma, which is another name for Hinduism, the original name for Hinduism is Sanatana Dharma, right? So there, no name is without meaning. So every name in Sanskritam or in our languages has got a meaning. So here too, every of the names has a meaning. And Trinavarta means, Avarta means swirling motion or rolling, whirling motion, like a cyclone, right? And Trina means grass. So it's like he was a Asura or a demon who came like a whirlwind. And what he did was, again, he was sent by none other than Kamsa. Okay, Lord Kamsa, who wanted to kill Krishna, he sent many people. One of the Asuras he sent was Trinavarta, who was actually his servant. Okay, and he sent saying, go pick up this child and bring him so that we can kill him. And so he came in the form of whirlwind. And when a wind comes, sometimes you see outside our houses, the dust storm. So he threw the dust in the eyes of the mothers and the ladies, and you can see them covering their eyes. And so when they could not see, he quickly picked up the Lord Krishna and carried him. Okay, but what happened, you know, as he carried Lord Krishna up into the sky, Lord Krishna became heavier and heavier and heavier, and so heavy that Trinavarta could no longer actually hold him. And so he crashed down to earth. And when he crashed down to earth, he died. So Trinavarta also met with a very sad end, obviously for his bad intentions. Okay? Now, there is another answer in that question, which is Vyoma-asura. Okay, of course, that is a wrong answer. But Vyoma-asura too was a kind of asura who was sent by Kamsa to kill Lord Krishna. And so Vyoma means again the sky, and asura we know. So Vyoma plus asura becomes Vyoma-asura. You know, all our names have got a meaning. And so Vyoma-asura came, and he too came in the form of a bat. And what he did was he tried to catch hold of many of Krishna's friends, and he took and hid them in a cave. Okay, and when he tried to hide them in a cave, Krishna could find that out, and then he caught hold of this Asura and he killed him. In fact, you can see the picture of a very nice temple at the bottom. When there is some opportunity, this temple is a very famous temple in Indonesia called the Prambanan temple. And in the Prambanan temple, in the rocks, there are beautiful carvings, and there is a fantastic carving of Yomasura being lifted by Lord Krishna and crashed on the ground. So let us not think that all these stories and carvings are there only in India. They are there even in far off places like Indonesia, in these grand temples which are spread all across many of the countries where you all are living. Let's go to the last question of the evening. The time is getting on. Last question was, Vatsasura was killed by whom, was thrown into which tree? Select the right combination. Of course, Vatsasura was killed by Krishna, so that part of the question was easy. But he was thrown into a wood apple tree. And so let's take a look. Vatsasura again means Vatsa. Vatsa is a calf or a deer son is also called. So he came as an Asura and he hid among the cows that Krishna was actually tending to as a cowherd. And then, but Krishna could find out because he could take a look at he caught hold of this cow and then he threw him against the wood apple tree. And when he hit the tree and fell down, Vatsasura also died. Now, there is something very special about the wood apple tree. You can see on the right hand side, there are pictures of the wood apple tree. The wood apple tree is very special to us, okay? Because the wood apple tree, it is also known in Tamil language as Malambaram or Bale in Hindi. Many of you might have even seen it. It's a very poetry. And in Sanskritam, it is known as Bilva. And the speciality of the leaves, Bilva Patra, are 3 leaves together. And it's very special because Bilva Patra is also used in Shiva Puja. So with that, I think I will close my comments. And I hope all of you had enjoyed it. And for those of you who participated, my congratulations.
Thank you, Sadashivji. It's a very interesting and very detailed description of all the events and the flora and fauna, all the trees and the different details here. This is really, the pictures are really good. Thank you for sharing this information. Now I'm going to bring out the scores. I think most of you would be really interested to listen to that, see the scores, the final scores. So I'm going to share my screen again. And this time I'm going to bring the scores. All right. Okay, so we have the top 3 people. So I'm going to announce the first person is Shrishti. She scored 17 right answers. Okay, and then and she's leading at the top with 15,841, followed by Harini. She's at 14,993. She answered 16 questions right. Madhu at the 3rd place. So these are the 3 winners they will be getting some cash prize today. Then let's see the top 10 people. So next is at 4th place, we have Anu Gopal. We have 14,000 points. They got 15 of them right. Narsi at 15. At 5th place, Pundarikakshan at 6th. Anant 2020. So I need to get the right name there. So I'll catch up from there. At 7th place, Bharati at 8, KKS at 9, and Neeraja at 10th place. Now, so they got 15 and 14 answers right. Now let's go down. So we have more people. Premiana, Sudikshna, Navneet, Gadai. So you all did a good job. Snowy Wolf, 13 questions right. Sai Tejasvi, Vimshri, Sai Shri, Rukmini, Ramnath. All right, so I'm going to publish this in the chat in a short while. So we have many other scores here. I'll publish this entire spreadsheet. Okay, I'm just doing a quick rundown here. Right, so many of you tried it very well, and then that's okay. So you're going to improve as you learn more, you're going to answer them more. So that's a good thing. So we started today. All right. So I'm going to now turn to the package, and I'm going to have a vote of thanks. So we have many people who worked very well for this event. So we just saw the top performance. Let's go to the next slide. So vote of thanks. I invite Sadashiv ji to give vote of thanks and end this session for today. So I thank all of the participants, and there are many people who worked very hard, Ramashi and then others. So you wanted to give the vote of thanks?
Yeah. Shall I carry on?
Go ahead.
Can I continue?
Yes, yes. I'll stop sharing. You can go ahead.
So children, first of all, again, I'm really heartened from our, both from the Hindu Center and the Krishna Premi group, heartened to see over 100 participants. That's quite a remarkable number. From almost 10 countries, 8 to 10 countries, we have children taking part this evening. And first of all, I hope you all enjoyed it. Some of it might have been a little tough, I do note, but what's the fun if everything was too easy? Then you would not really see the value of taking part in a game, right? But don't be disheartened. What's most important is taking part and learning out of this. And so let's also do join me in thanking the Krishna Premi Sangha and the Hindu Center for having organized this quiz. I am glad to say that there will be more of such programs coming. So do keep a lookout for such quiz programs, and you could go to both the website of Krishna Premi Group as well as the website of Facebook page of Hindu Center. But I would like to leave close by telling one more important sort of sharing. One is that, as you can see from these stories, that we have our own Superman in the form of Lord Krishna or Krishna Paramatma, right? So while it is okay to definitely enjoy the comics of Superman and Mr. America and Phantom and all those great comics, the Hulk, they're all great fun. But there is equally good, interesting stories from the Bhagavatam, and I'm sure you can ask your parents to read you some of these stories or go take a look at some of the books. They're available online. Many of them are there. They're very interesting stories, let me assure you. They're as interesting as Superman or Mr. America comics. And you'll find exciting events there. The other thing I want you to also go and find out after this is, as I told you, all our names in Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma always have a meaning. So each of you, I saw so many names, 100 over names in the spreadsheet that Ganeshji shared. Every one of you has a beautiful name. Have you gone and found out what's the meaning behind your name? Okay. So I'm sure you, probably many of you would have. If not, make it a point to go and first ask your parents, what is the meaning behind your name? And then after that, go find out the story behind the name. There will be a story behind every one of your names. And many of them are very interesting stories, as interesting as some of these stories that I and others shared this evening. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye from both the Krishna Premi Group and the Hindu Center team. And Hari Om, and we will end with a prayer. Do stay for the prayer. Join in the prayer in your respective houses, and then we will meet again in a few weeks or months' time. Hari Om.
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you all for participation, and I will send out the scores and the winner details through the chat and email. So thank you all for your participation. So talk to you soon later. Thank you. Thank you. Radhe Krishna. Radhe Krishna. Bye.